Hello everybody, my name is Peter Xenopoulos. Today I'll be discussing how professional esports teams analyze and scout opponents, and how ggViz helps them do so more efficiently. Esports have come a long way. In fact, they're starting to resemble conventional sports. Not only are esports organizations attracting millions of viewers and sponsorship dollars, but they are also hiring robust teams of analysts and player development specialists. However, despite all this investment, manual video-based analysis is still the main mode of analysis. First, let's talk about the data in esports. The most common of which is called a demo file, or simply a demo. These files are essentially like a playback of a match. A demo file can be produced in a few games, like Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which is the game we focus on here. We focus on CSGO due to its large following and robust esports scene. CSGO demos are often found on tournament or fan sites and are generally really easy to acquire. In CSGO, they can be played back in-game, in a third-party demo viewer, or even parsed and quantitatively analyzed. Let's briefly talk about how teams analyze performance. In many esports, there are game replays that we just talked about. In particular, pro players, coaches, and managers often watch these replays. They do so with third-party viewers that help improve the demo watching experience, such as providing a better user interface. While watching demos, they usually manually record notes in some application, or even using a pen and paper. They often try to ask questions such as, given the team has X, Y, and Z weapons, where do the defenders usually play? The common problem here is finding game states of interest. Here's some feedback from top 10 staff in CSGO. The use of demo files was unanimous from all the experts we interviewed, who were analysts, coaches, and managers from top 10 CSGO teams. The most common task mentioned by one of the analysts was to determine how a team would play under certain conditions. One manager mentioned that doing so can be overloading, since a single demo can be an hour or more. A coach identified his frustration with the current anecdotal approach, since there is not enough time to analyze a full collection of demos. Finding game states of interest is a clear bottleneck. So now we'll talk about how to quickly find similar game states, and to do so, we'll start by discussing navigation meshes. The obvious question here is, what exactly is a navigation mesh? In short, it's what a computer-controlled bot uses to walk around in a game. Let's see how this works in CSGO. Basically, we start with a map, which is the in-game world, and this map is divided into surfaces, or areas. In CSGO, these areas are all quadrilaterals and come in various sizes, as you can see on the left. A collection of contiguous areas makes a place, which is assigned a human identifiable name, such as CT spawn, apartments, or bomb site A. You can see examples by color in the middle. Finally, these areas all make up a graph, indicating which areas are connected to one another, as you see on the right. We propose a simple method to produce a token for a game state based solely on player position. On any given CSGO map, there are usually 20 to 25 places. So, we count the number of players on each side in each place. The vector is actually broken up into two sections, a T part and a CT part, for the two sides in CSGO. This provides a token for a game state. Overall, if we wanted to design a system to search for similar plays, it would look like this. We have a target game state, which we could actually just draw out and apply some general high-level filters, such as for the teams and the equipments that each team had. Then, we generate the token and search for it in a database to return a list of game states. We can query using a sketch-based interface. Searching for states is actually quite fast. In our data set with many millions of game states, we can return a list of similar game states in just a few seconds. If an analyst only wanted to search a dataset of a few games, it would take even less time. And this is exactly what we did with the ggViz system. That was the back end, so now let's talk about the front end. On the left-hand side, denoted A, we have the query view, where a user can draw player coordinates and apply filters. In the B view, we have the results. Game states are represented by a card, which shows info on the round in which the game state took place. At the bottom of each card is a win probability diagram showing the chances of winning for each team at every second of the round. The colored non-black dot indicates where the state took place in the round. The black dot indicates a bomb plant. On the right side, we have the playback view, where users can play back the round of the selected state and observe events such as grenade throws, kills, and go to those specific points of a round. Finally, at the top, we have the heat map view, which shows a heat map of where players are standing in the result set from B. This can be useful for summarizing team tendencies. Here is an example of an insight that one can derive using ggViz. Here, we have the bomb site positional heat map for the Inferno CSGO map. We place two CTs in various configurations defending the B bomb site. Under various conditions, namely how much equipment the CT site has, we see where the most commonly played spots are. There are clear relationships based on the different buy types, such as full buy, semi-eco, and full eco. Such an analysis can help prepare teams for when they want to take the B site, and they can create these heat maps according to various opponents. ggViz is mostly limited by the lack of spatiotemporal data in games. It only requires a discretization of a playing surface, so, in theory, it could be extended to most esports, or even conventional sports. Extending ggViz to other games would require some bespoke filters depending on the game, but this is fairly surmountable. ggViz also has some limitations when it comes to sketching game states in very vertical playing worlds. One way to get around this is by having various slices of a map, like in the example we see to the right. Finally, we evaluated ggViz using an observation-based design. However, we believe going forward that it can be useful to design a task-based evaluation with a larger sample size and well-defined tasks. If you'd like to visit the full paper for detail, you can visit the bit.ly link shown below. If you're interested in parsing CSGO files, please refer to the OPI library. Thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions.